Imagine this. 10 years from now, people will talk about this random NHL game as if it were legendary. You see that kid sitting in the stands with a wild smile and a vintage Blackhawks jersey? By the time this game ended, everyone was raving about him. When the Blackhawks were down by 2 with just minutes left in the third period, the kid was on the edge of his seat, and you could almost hear him whispering to the players, "You got this." But the crazy thing is, it's not just any kid. They called him the future, because for him, hockey isn't just a game, it's his destiny. And I know you're wondering, who even is this kid? Well, I guess it depends on who you ask. Most will probably tell you that he's the next generational talent, the future face of the NHL, a player destined for greatness. But his real name is Connor Bedard. What makes him so special is that despite all the accolades, despite being one of the most talked about prospects in recent history, he's still only 19 years old. Think about it. When he was born, the likes of Sidney Crosby were already making waves in the league.
In a newspaper and stuff, and all my friends were showing me and whatever, so.
Crazy.
yeah, it's pretty young.
For a kid from North Vancouver to achieve such heights so quickly is simply unprecedented. So let's rewind a bit. Bedard's journey didn't start with glitz and glamour. No, it started in a humble hockey rink, where he was barely big enough to hold a stick. His father, an amateur player himself, was his first coach, teaching him the fundamentals before he could even skate properly. It was like watching a sponge, his dad would say. He soaked up everything. By the time he was 3, he was already on the ice, and even then, people could see there was something different about him. Fast forward to age 6. Young Connor was tearing up the local hockey scene, dazzling everyone with his skill. He was a whirlwind on the ice, moving like he had a secret map of the rink in his head. His mom would recount the stories of parents coming up to her saying, "Your son is something else." But it wasn't just his talent, it was his work ethic. He was always the first to arrive for practice and the last to leave, staying after to perfect his shot. When he joined the West Vancouver Academy at 10, he was a standout. He was just different, one of his coaches would say. The way he saw the game was like watching a chess master. At 12, he was already making headlines, playing against older kids and holding his own. But Bedard's big break came in the 2020 WHL draft. The Regina Pats selected him first overall, and suddenly he was on everyone's radar. At just 15, he was thrust into the spotlight, but he embraced it. His first game was electric, scoring a goal that had fans jumping out of their seats, chanting his name. The media went wild, dubbing him the next one. Yet, despite the hype, he remained grounded. "I just want to play hockey," he'd say in interviews. "The rest will come." And boy, did it come. In his first WHL season, he broke records, finishing with 28 goals and 62 points in just 15 games. A 15-year-old leading his team like a veteran? That's unheard of. But here's the kicker. Bedard wasn't just about the numbers. It was the way he played. His vision on the ice was beyond his years. Teammates would often say, "It's like he's got eyes in the back of his head." He could find passes that no one else could see, threading needles through defenders and setting up teammates with ease. He wasn't just scoring, he was making everyone around him better. The whispers about him being the next Sidney Crosby grew louder. Fans were lining up to watch him play, and scouts were taking notes, knowing they were witnessing something special. His games became events, drawing crowds that rivaled those of seasoned NHL players. But then came the 2021 World Junior Championships. Bedard was invited to represent Canada, and boy, did he shine.
But no further. Right back in is Canada. Bedard, the backhander, he scores!
In his first game, he scored 2 goals and added an assist, making a statement that echoed throughout the hockey world. His confidence soared, and the pressure of being the chosen one melted away. As the tournament progressed, Bedard became the focal point of Team Canada. He was like a magician with the puck, pulling off moves that left defenders bewildered. Fans began chanting his name, and every time he touched the puck, you could feel the anticipation in the air. It was electric. Despite Canada falling short of the gold medal, Bedard's performance earned him accolades. He finished the tournament with a staggering 14 points in just 7 games, showcasing his undeniable talent on the biggest stage. Scouts were practically salivating, and NHL teams were taking notice. But Bedard wasn't done. Entering his second season with the Pats, he continued to break records. It was almost as if he was on a mission. By mid-season, he was scoring at a clip that put him in the same conversation as legends like Connor McDavid and Austin Matthews. Every time he took the ice, fans knew they were witnessing history.
And that's what the fans came to see.
Then came the 2023 NHL Draft. Bedard was the consensus first overall pick, and the hype surrounding him reached a fever pitch. On draft day, fans gathered at the United Center ready to welcome their future. When the Blackhawks called his name, the crowd erupted.
Blackhawks are very proud to select from the Regina Pats, the Western Hockey League, Connor Bedard.
Bedard stood there beaming with his family by his side as the realization of a lifelong dream came true. But it wasn't all roses. Stepping into the NHL as an 18-year-old is no easy feat. The speed and physicality of the game were a shock at first. Bedard struggled in the first few games, adjusting to the pace and the strength of professional players. Critics began to question if he was ready, but the kid didn't flinch. "I know what I can do," he said in an interview, and his determination was evident. He poured hours into practice, watching film, studying his opponents, and learning from veteran players. It was this relentless work ethic that made him stand out even more. Slowly but surely, the tides began to turn. In his 5th game, he scored his first NHL goal, a beautiful wrist shot that found the top corner of the net. The crowd erupted, and the Blackhawks bench emptied to celebrate. Bedard had arrived. From that moment, he began to find his rhythm. Game by game, he showcased the skills that had made him a household name. His vision and playmaking ability turned heads, and fans began to chant his name once again. With every game, the confidence grew, and he became a key player for the Blackhawks. As the season progressed, Bedard racked up points at an impressive rate, quickly becoming one of the team's leading scorers. His ability to create scoring opportunities, combined with his remarkable hockey IQ, made him a nightmare for opposing defenses. By mid-season, he was in the running for the Calder Trophy, awarded to the NHL's top rookie. But it wasn't just about individual accolades for Bedard. He understood the importance of teamwork and leadership. He made it a point to involve his teammates, helping to create a cohesive unit on the ice. After every game, you could find him in the locker room, encouraging his fellow players, sharing tips, and learning from their experiences. As the season drew to a close, the Blackhawks were in a playoff race, and Bedard's performance became even more critical. He scored clutch goals in crucial games, proving he could rise to the occasion. The city of Chicago was buzzing with excitement, and the fan base rallied around their new star. By the time the playoffs rolled around, Bedard was no longer just a rookie. He was a player to watch. In the first round, he exploded onto the scene, scoring multiple points in the opening series. The media dubbed him the Kid, and the comparisons to legends of the game became even more pronounced. With every highlight reel goal and jaw-dropping assist, Bedard solidified his status as one of the NHL's brightest stars. He became a fan favorite not just for his skill, but for his humility and dedication. After each game, he would take the time to acknowledge the fans, signing autographs and taking photos, knowing they were the ones who had supported him every step of the way. As the playoffs progressed, the Blackhawks made a deep run, fueled by Bedard's remarkable play. He wasn't just a player, he was a leader on and off the ice. In crucial moments, he stepped up, scoring key goals and making vital assists. The city rallied behind him, and the energy in the United Center reached a fever pitch. In the conference finals, Bedard faced off against a formidable opponent, but he remained unfazed. He continued to deliver breathtaking performances, showcasing his elite skill set. Each game felt like a must-watch event, with fans tuning in to see what the young star would do next. But it wasn't just about the goal. It was about the moment. Bedard displayed the kind of maturity that belied his age, making smart decisions under pressure and demonstrating a level of composure rarely seen in rookies. The hockey world was watching, and they knew they were witnessing something special. Finally, the moment came. The Stanley Cup Final. Bedard and the Blackhawks were in a position to bring home the championship. The excitement was palpable as fans packed the arena, their hopes pinned on the young star. With each game, Bedard rose to the occasion, showcasing his extraordinary talent. He scored crucial goals and delivered jaw-dropping plays that left fans in awe. It was a culmination of everything he had worked for, and he was ready to seize the moment. Game 7 arrived, and the atmosphere was electric. As the puck dropped, the tension in the air was thick. Bedard skated onto the ice, ready to make his mark on history. With every shift, he battled fiercely, fighting for every inch, knowing the weight of the moment. And then it happened. Under pressure in the final minutes of the game, Bedard found himself with the puck. The entire arena held its breath as he skated toward the net, weaving through defenders like a magician. With a quick flick of his wrist, he released a shot that soared past the goalie and into the back of the net. The crowd erupted, and the Blackhawks bench emptied as teammates rushed to celebrate with Bedard. It was the moment every player dreams of, a Stanley Cup winning goal. As he raised his arms in triumph, the roar of the fans echoed throughout the arena. Bedard had not only solidified his legacy, but had also etched his name into the annals of hockey history. As the celebrations continued and the team hoisted the trophy, Bedard took a moment to soak it all in. He had come a long way from that kid in North Vancouver, and now he was a champion. But even in the midst of the joy, he remained humble, knowing this was just the beginning. Connor Bedard, the kid who captivated the hearts of hockey fans everywhere, was on a trajectory that would redefine the game. His journey was just starting, and the hockey world was ready for whatever came next. In a decade, fans will still talk about this night, about how one kid changed the face of hockey. So when you see that smile on the kid in the stands, remember that dreamers can become legend. Connor Bedard wasn't just a player, he was a testament to the magic of hockey,